Unfortunately, our swords finally expires. But what's this? He revealed a cocoon of evolution to equip to his petite mod, making its defense 2000. And then get in 1750 with Jerry Beanman. A few turns pass by, and on turn 20, I finally draw into a Dark Magician. My Ruikishin power is attacked to 0. Celtic Guardian can now get over it, and due to Minigut's second effect, an additional 1600. Bandit brings up our supposedly missing card, which just ends up being a major self-report. Duel Monster shows us into a quick tutorial where I schooled Joey. I begin with setting the dragon dwelling in the cave, who has an absolutely massive 2k defense. Joey summons his Blazing Enpachi, which is obviously no match for our set. I make quick work of Zenpachi with our Ninken Dog, empowered by our Banner of Courage. Now in a defensive position, Joey sets 1 before passing it over. We tribute summon our Gravity Crush Dragon to pop the set, and then activate our Call of the Haunted to bring back our Ninken Dog for the game. Upon witnessing our display of skill, Tristan realizes how bad Joey is, and Yugi joins in the roasting, calling Joey's deck, direct quote, dog shit, while flexing how his grandpa owns a card shop, which indirectly funnels money back in his pocket. And don't worry, Kaiba is also here, just casually eavesdropping upon some random high schooler's duel. Most normal CEO ever. Anyway, we find ourselves over at Grandpa's game shop. Through his grandpa, Yugi flexes all over us by showing us the legendary Blue Eyes White Dragon, a card of which only 4 exist in the world. Out of nowhere, Kaiba reveals himself and offers to buy the card. Grandpa refuses to sell his copy. The next day arrives, and we see that Kaiba ended up destroying Grandpa as he lays on the ground, lifeless. Through a strained breath, Grandpa hands us his deck as we challenge Kaiba for revenge. Very quickly, I find out why Grandpa lost. Our win condition is to draw Exodia. Unfortunately, our opening hand is not looking that great with only 1 piece of Exodia, the right leg. I have nothing to reborn at the moment, and I think using swords would be a waste first turn, so I just end up setting 1. Kaiba decides to get aggressive and uses the Ancient Rule spell card, allowing him to drop a Judge Dredd turn 1. He summons Aquamadura to join in, and I consider myself lucky he didn't drop a Blue Eyes instead. My draw of Torque caught me off guard, because I didn't expect such trash. No wonder Grandpa lost. I still set it for protection, and decided to drop the swords now. Kaiba's turn is fairly standard. He summons 1 Hitotsumi Giant and sets 1 before passing it over. Funnily enough, I draw a second swords. Not too bad, as I can stall for another 3 turns. Torque is useless right now, so I tribute it off for our Rude Kaiser. I attack over the Aquamador and get Shadow Spelled. This drops our Kaiser to 1100, causing its death. This leaves us completely open, with swords being our only protection. Kaiba summons the Mystical Genie of the Lamp, legit. A crazy 4-star normal, as it has 1800 attack. Unfortunately, he also had a Dispel, destroying our swords, leaving us completely open. This duel being significantly more of a challenge right after Joey ends up being the correct choice, as it showcases Kaiba's world-class dueling ability. Of course, it doesn't help that our win condition is to, draw Exodia. I start with a much better hand in game 2. In fact, I have the best card in the game, Pot of Greed. And just in case you didn't know what it does, it allows me to draw 3 cards. I end up drawing into Exodia's Head and Snatch Steel. From here I set Sengen for the search and Spellbinding for future protection. Kaiba starts off with a Summoning Art, and searches for 1 of his Blue Eyes. His combo doesn't end there, as he activates Ancient Rules and brings out, you guessed it, Blue Eyes. I do have the Snatch Steel in my hand, but I decided to just go ahead and hit it with a Spellbinding Circle. Jin comes out and attacks my Sengen. I could search for another piece of Exodia, but I decided to grab another Sengen instead. This provides me with some protection and can give us another search. It itself is also 1 card out of the deck. This way, I increase my chances to possibly draw something useful. Of course, it's too bad that the deck is only bad cards. I draw in Heart of the Underdog, which allows me to reveal a normal monster to draw another card. I set my second Sengen and pass. Kaiba summons Aquamador, and then Jin hits our Sengen. I search for the final Sengen and take 1200 direct. I draw Gaia, allowing me to trigger Underdog and draw into a copy of Swords. I set the Sengen and hesitate before activating the Swords. I obviously want my Sengen to get destroyed, but I also did not want to die. Kaiba sets 1 and passes. With just 1 copy of Underdog, the deck started to make some sense. I set. Kaiba plays out his turn, and then I draw again. Giant Soldier of Stone is another beefy 2k defender, but I end up drawing into a second Underdog after Exodia's left leg. Kaiba passes as he still can't do anything. Unfortunately, our swords finally expires. I draw Exodia's left arm, meaning the only piece remaining is Exodia's right leg. Somehow we've gotten quite close to victory. I hoped to draw the final piece of Exodia from our double underdog triggers, but instead we got pure monster removal with Dark Hole and Raigeki, the latter of which I activate, clearing Kaiba's field. Following that up, I tribute 2 monsters to bring out the ultimate magician in terms of attack and defense. That's right, the legendary Dark Magician. Making sure one of the tributes was specifically Sengen, I get its search and grab the final piece of Exodia. With that, Exodia, obliterate. After winning against Kaiba, we receive a package from none other than the creator of Duel Monsters, Pegasus. Of course, he just decides to casually invite us into the Shadow Realm. The plot twists don't end there because we learn that Pegasus was really the imposter the entire time. The game actually originated from ancient Egypt, where it wasn't actually a game. Pegasus doesn't stop there and gives us further insight into Yugi's Millennium Puzzle, revealing his own Millennium Eye in the process. Of course, he couldn't stop himself from stealing Grippa's soul, and in order to rescue him, we head off towards Duelist Kingdom. Our first challenge, the very person who dumped our Exodia cards on the boat right here. Being turned player, I start off with a massive, revolutionary play. Set 1 pass. But what's this? He revealed a Cocoon of Evolution to equip to his Petite Mott, making its defense 2000. But wait, there is more. He activates his Cocoon of Ultra Evolution and transforms his useless Petite Mott to a perfectly ultimate Great Moth. On top of that, he has a spell card that boosts its attack to 3800. That's 800 more than Blue Eyes. After analyzing the board state, I realized what I needed to do. Set 1 pass. Weevil activates Graceful Charity, allowing him to draw 3 cards and discard 2. Not like he needed any more advantage in the situation. Weevil brings out Howling Insect and boosts his Perfect Moth by another 300 attack. His Moth gets over our Beaver Warrior, and the Howling Insect attacks us. On turn change, I draw, and I need it to be a big one. Mirror Force. Guess I'm drawing like there's 8 O's in my name. I do a casualty set, but add an additional card in my back row to act as a bluff, just in case there is any back row removal. Weevil doesn't suspect a thing and goes straight into battle, declaring an attack with his Moth. Perfect. I activate my trap card, Mirror Force. Unfortunately, he had a counter with Cocoon of Ultra Illusion, allowing him to tribute his perfectly ultimate Great Moth for a much weaker Great Moth in defense position. Unfortunately, he had a counter with Cocoon of Ultra Evolution, where he tributes off his perfectly ultimate Great Moth for a much weaker Great Moth in defense position. Now, as for why he didn't get another perfect, I would reckon it's probably because they decided not to give him a second copy. Not much happens after this. I set my Sengen, he attacks into it with the Great Moth, allowing me to search for a monster. Too bad, this deck is all bad cards, so I just pick Kaiba. At least that's one attack negation. And yes, this is technically the first hand trap in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! I guess not even technically, it just straight up is. Weevil proceeds to set 1 in his main phase 2, and then pass. Guess what I do on my turn? Set 1 pass. That's truly surprising. Great Moth gets over my Mystical Elf, but Gokibor doesn't get over my Feral Imp. For my draw, I end up with the Swords, which is pretty good. For now, I just set 1 and end my turn. I know, truly epic gameplay. Weevil summons 1 big insect and clears my board. I then choose to take the 1400 from Gokibor. I set the Spellbinding Circle I just drew. From here, I now have multiple options. I choose E, end phase. Weevil goes in to end me, but this is where I activate Spellbinding on his Moth to prevent it from attacking me directly. Back on my turn, I draw Gaia, the Fierce Knight, and this has to be one of the worst cards ever printed. A 2 tribute, 2300 normal. Anyways, I reveal my swords because if I don't, I lose. With this return buffer, I pass. Weevil doesn't do anything, I set 1. Then another. Finally, my swords run out, and guess what? That's right. I set 1 pass. Wow, I love DM so much. Weevil isn't having any more of this and tries to finish me off. Sucks that none of them can get over my 3-star, 2000 defense Giant Soldier of Stone. A couple of turns pass and nothing happens. Weevil decides to make a move and tributes over a spellbound Great Moth for a Hercules Beetle, a 5-star 1500 normal. It attacks over my set Silverfang. I pass. He passes. I set. I pass. And then I draw it into Graceful. I activate it, but don't worry, I still set one pass. On turn 45, remember when I activated Mirror Force 30 turns ago? Me either, but that doesn't matter because it's all come together with this draw. I tribute my 2 monsters for the Dark Magician. Not only that, but I activate the Poly and fuse my Gaia the Fierce Knight and Cursed Dragon for Gaia the Dragon Champion. Finally, I can start clearing up the board. And of course, he activates Woboku, making it so I can't destroy his monsters and he takes no damage. With that, I end my turn. Weevil changes everything to defense position, but it doesn't matter as I finally win on turn 50 through deck out. Wow. We finally play as Joey. He's here for the prize money in order to pay for his sister's eye surgery, confirming that we are indeed dueling in America. Fuck yeah. Mai activates a mountain and summons Valstorm, a 1700 beater, before setting one to end turn. I start off with Fusion Conscription. This allows me to grab a normal fusion material, in this case Baby Dragon. I choose to set one and end my turn. Mai summons a Birdface, which easily gets over my Tiger Axe. This makes way for Battlestorm to get me. I drop Raigeki right away. And then get in 1750 with Jerry Beanman. Mai brings out Heartbeat Dancer, but she's not quite big enough. Mai has an answer though with the trap card Icarus Attack. But get this, the target 2 is mandatory, forcing Mai to target my Jerry Beanman and her own mountain. Of course, I have no response, and the chain resolves, leaving the field completely clear. I top that fusion stage, which lets me grab a Poly from my deck. Now with all 3 cards, I fusion summon Thousand Dragon. Caught up in the hype, I forget to summon Tiger Axe, but still get in for 2400. Luckily, I remember and set Tiger Axe in main phase 2 just to act as a body on the field. Mai in turn tops deck Monster Reborn, setting to grab Time Wizard, attempting to blow up the field. She goes for heads and shreds through my board. Luckily, I end up drawing Axe Raider, probably one of the best cards in his deck. With Time Wizard dead, I end my turn. Mai doesn't seem to draw into anything and passes. I draw Flame Manipulator, a crazy powerful 3-star monster. I get it for 2600 total, leaving Mai with only 1250. Mai sets 1. I draw. However, I don't know what her back row is, and so I decide to turn Flame Manipulator to defense. Axe Raider goes in, and his attack connects. My question is how she could have lost, and Joey says she needs to learn to care more about than just herself. After a misunderstanding of where Mako thought we were trying to steal his food, he decides to challenge us to a duel. Mako starts his turn off with Yumi and a normal summon of a Great White, who is now boosted to 1800 total. I don't have an answer and set my Beaver Warrior. Mako's Great White obviously gets over it, and Giant Red Sea Snake gets in for 2000. I set my Giant Soldier of Stone now, after trying to bait out some sort of removal. With 2000 defense, I don't know how Mako's gonna out it. Jellyfish attacks in my soldier, and with only 1400 attack, Mako takes 600 damage. I draw into Spellbinding Circle instead of Mimic Graveyard, which doesn't last for too long. Next up, I bring out Beaver Warrior and equip it with Mystical Moon. Bring it up to 1500 attack. I can now get over to Jellyfish. The idea here is just within the field. This extends the timer for needing to hard draw a master removal card while making sure he can't burst this down. A few turns pass by, but nothing of note happens. On the start of turn 14, I draw Mirror Force. Finally. I set it, but also set everything else just in case there's any removal. And when you look at that, the classic end phase MSC. Unfortunately hit my poly, but that's actually probably the best case scenario for us. Jellyfish attacks are set, but little does he know about our Mirror Force. A few turns pass by, and on turn 20, I finally draw into a Dark Magician. With this, I'm finally able to apply some pressure. And Wizard. Of course. Mako goes in with everything. I decide to hold a Kaiba because it doesn't matter. I draw Attack the Mood, and that's just not good enough. Game 2, Mako starts off with just a simple set 1. I end up drawing into Puddle Grade. You know what it does. I activate Attack the Moon and set Golem Sentry. Unfortunately, Mako tributes to bring out the legendary Fisherman, and for some reason, I feel an irrational madness, making me want to act out. Our Golem Sentry gets sent to the graveyard. I draw a Horn of the Unicorn and equip it after summoning my Feral Imp. 2k attack do be crazy in times like these. Turn 10, I bring in a Silver Fang and attack with all 4 of my monsters. After clearing the set, each attack is successful, leaving Mako with only 50 life points. While annoying, there isn't anything Mako can do while I still have swords up, and I end up summoning Dark Magician to win the game. Still being salty about our previous loss, Mike concludes with one Rex Raptor to challenge Joey. Rex starts off with terraforming and grabs a wasteland. He follows that up with a set 2. Joey's deck is still unplayable, so we can only set Flame Manipulator and pass. Rex drops Crawling Dragon number 2 and then special summons Gillosaurus, which is insane right now because there are no monsters in my graveyard to summon. Luckily, we draw an Axe Raider, which is probably the best monster in our deck by virtue of being a 1700 attack 4-star. However, Bottomless Trap Hole will end any of my aspirations. Rex gets in for 5200, leaving me with just 1000 life points. And this next draw needs to be a big one. Kunai Chain is okay, but it's not quite good enough. Still, I need to make something happen, or else I'll just die. So I end up activating Cost Down and tributing off the Leo Sun, clogging my hand. This drops Lava Battle Guard down to level 3, allowing me to normal summon it. I then Snatch Steal Two-Headed King Rex. I have some choices now, and decide to have the Two-Headed King figure out what Rex said. Attacking into it reveals a Miracle Jurassic Egg, causing me to take 400 damage. Balgar takes out the Gillosaurus and gives the egg 2 counters. That doesn't matter though, as Rex sacrifices his 2 monster for his Serpent Knight Dragon. Game 2, I brick what has to be one of the top 1 worst hands of all time. Like, oh, look at this. Disaster. Rex swings out of the Black Dragon Strike and Gilsaur's turn 1. And of course, Rex just happens to have it as he tributes off the Black Dragon Strike, bringing out Red Eye's Black Dragon. We take 2400, and this next draw needs to be good. So we lost, because Joey Coop's deck has no good cards. Game 3, I start with a cost down, sending a Grusis as cost to summon my Swamp Battle Guard. Rex brings out Rex and sets 2. I use my Soul Exchange and tribute off Rex's Rex for my second Swamp Battle Guard. No Bottomless is good, but we have to end here due to Soul Exchange. Rex tributes off one of our Swamp Battle Guards for his Mega Zowler. Stuck in the standstill, I set the Flame Manipulator I drew and end my turn. It does end up getting destroyed the following turn, and I think I should have held out for my Poly, but we draw X-Raider, which is good enough. Anyway, Rex drops the Red Eyes. Set 1, pass. Easy. Classic, clean Yu-Gi-Oh! Let's see what Rex is up to. Turn 1, he summons Black Dragon Chick and goes straight into the Red Eyes. First turn. Rex summons Rex turn 1 before passing it over. Alright, this hand at least looks playable, by Joey standards. And that's only really because of the Sakuretsu armor. I cost down into Rude Kaiser and get over his Rex. In response, he sets 2. I keep up the pressure by bringing out my Koji Kosi, but this time he has the Bottomless. Kaiser attacks a set, sending a Trachodon into the graveyard. Rex sets 1, which we clear no problem. Rex summons Black Dragon Shake, which means Red Eyes arrives. Too bad we have the Sakuretsu armor. I draw the 3 worst cards on my deck before drawing into a Soul Exchange. I tribute off his monster from my Lava Battle Guard and hope Rex can't deal with this. On his turn, Rex sets 1, and that better be a Mirror Force, because Swamp Battle Guard gets an extra 500 from Lava. Luckily for us, it's not a Mirror Force, and we leave Rex with just 850 life points. He sets 1, but I don't think they'll save him. I tribute off our Kaiser for the second Swamp Battle Guard, and now Lava Battle Guard is sitting at 2750th. Lava attacks a set, which happens to be a Gale Lizard. This monster actually is an effect, and upon a successful flip summon, it can target a monster and return it to the hand. Swamp Battle Guard gets in for 2500, and with that, we have rampaged all over Rex. Later that night, Bakura calls us over for a fun Star Chipless duel. And of course, he drags us into the Shadow Realm. Bakura starts with a single set. On my turn, I activate Graceful Charity without much thought. We draw into Double Summon Skull and Monster Reborn. Not bad. Bakura flips over his face down. And it's a Mana Eater bug, which unfortunately pops our set Magician. Bakura falls out with his Headless Knight. We take the full 1900. And then draw. I start off with a Monster Reborn, summoning the Dark Magician we discarded, getting rid of the Headless Knight. Bakura sets 1, changes the Mana Eater bug to defense, and then sets 1 more for good measure. I tribute for Summon Skull. This card is cracked, being a 2500 beater and just 6 stars. We clear Bakura's field with relative ease. Bakura sets 1 and passes. He does this for a couple of turns before our Summon Skull attacks into a Morphing Jar. This forces us to discard a hand and draw 5 new cards, but that doesn't matter as Dark Magician just cleans it up. Tia, Tristan, and Joey wake up thinking our duel against Baku was just a dream. We rush over and duel, wagering all of our star chips. Panik starts with a zombie monster and 2 back row. The only option I have is to set a giant soldier of stone and pass. Panik summons a frenzied panda, but our giant soldier of stone is just too thick. I drop a horn imp and attack the panda. Panik isn't having it and flips over a mirror force. Annoying, but horn imp only has 1300 attack. Panik then flips over his second face down, dark mirror force, which banishes my giant soldier of stone. Well, that sucks. However, in this situation, I don't think he can kill me from full health, so I just end up passing my turn. Panik attacks and I take all 3000 damage. Our following draw is Mystical Elf, which is definitely one of the better draws we have. We stay in an impasse for a while until I draw Curse of Dragon. Finally, we can use both the Polymerization and Gaia the Fierce Knight we opened with. Gaia the Dragon Champion enters the battlefield. I enter the battlefield and attack. The only thing I'm worried about is that back row. And of course, is indeed another Mirror Force. We cast Full of Dark Illusions, boosting attack and defense of zombie monsters by 200. Zombie Master is able to get over a Mystical Elf. The next draw is our last copy of Gaia the Fierce Knight. Game 2 starts and our opening hand looks much better. I just decided to bring out Winged Dragon, Guardian of the Fortress #1, and set the Mirror Force. Panik does not panic and goes full defense, setting 1 monster and 2 back row. I activate swords and reveal a set Castle of Dark Illusions. Seeing I can't get over it, I just let one in pass. Under swords, Panik is unable to do anything, so he just passes. I try to get in with Winged Dragon, but of course he has both Mirror Forces set. Swords buys us another turn and we draw a Giant Soldier of Stone. I summon in face up and punish Panik's aggro play by getting rid of the now in attack Castle of Dark Illusions. Panik brings out Bone Crusher before activating Yellow Luster Shield. Insane. He tops it off with a Allure of Darkness, allowing him to draw 2. Luckily for him, he did draw a Dark Monster and banishes it, ending his turn by setting the last card in his hand. Our swords finally expires. Good thing we just drew our second copy. No longer under any danger, I just end my turn. A few turns pass by, and nothing happens. A common occurrence when you play Swords of Revealing Light. I eventually draw into Summon Skull. Panik's Field Spell, Yummy, actually ends up helping us here by boosting our Summon Skull's attack by 200. I clear 2 of his monsters and end my turn. Panik has no response and ends up passing. Swords expires, but it doesn't matter. I drop down another Mother Grizzly to clear the field. Panik still has no response. We draw the best card in the game and climb into a Polymerization. Here I fuse Gaia and Curse the Dragon into Gaia, the Dragon Champion. Then I tribute both my Mother Grizzlies for Dark Magician. Bonz starts off the duel with a classic T-set. I summon Baby Dragon, and thanks to the poly, we can use 3 cards to bring out an 1800 vanilla beater. Swordsman strikes down Bonz's set zombie mammoth. If only Bonz put his monster in attack mode, we could have gotten over it and he would have not taken the 1900 damage for no reason. Bonz uses Tribute to the Doomed and pops my Flame Swordsman before ending his turn. A greedy pot makes its appearance once again. I bring out my second Baby Dragon. Bonz drops down to 2500 life points. So if he doesn't do something big, this turn we win. He just ends up skipping. On his end phase, I activate my Dust Tornado and pop his back row, Call of the Haunted. This card represented some problems during my turn, as he could have brought back Zombie Mammoth, have been able to get over it. I bring out my Misaki the Legendary Swordsman and end the duel. Not gonna lie, this duel was Omega mid, and even the game doesn't care about this duel as we only get 1 line of story before and after the fight. Finally about to confront Pegasus, we play as Kaiba against Yugi to decide who gets to fight Pegasus. I start my turn by activating both fusion stages. Besides grabbing Polymerization from my deck, it also helps to thin it out by 2 cards. I bring out my Ryukishin Powered and pass. Yugi hits me with 1 set and a Sword of Revealing Light. I should have known this, as I've done that very move myself countless times. Being unable to attack, I set 1 and pass. Yugi falls out with the Celtic Guardian before flipping over his set Torque. He doesn't stop there and activates Mystic Box. He gets rid of our set, gives us his Torque, and then attacks over it, dealing us a massive 200 damage. The following turn, I send my White Stone of Legend and pass. Summoning Legend would have been pointless due to swords, and we need to start cycling Blue Eyes. For some reason, Yugi normal summons his Kuribo before activating Mini Guts. Yugi tributes off his Kuribo and reduces my Ryukishin Power's attack to 0. Celtic Guardian can now get over it, and due to Minigut's second effect, an additional 1600. I finally bring out the Lodge In. Celtic Guardian attacks in my set White Stone, which allows us to grab a copy of Blue Eyes. Yugi sets one monster in main phase 2 and ends his turn. I draw into my second White Stone of Legend and debate whether or not I should just crash it. I decide against doing so and get rid of his Celtic Guardian with my Lodge In. Celtic Guardian doesn't stay gone for long though, as Yugi's set monster is revealed. As I hoped, he attacks in my White Stone, letting me add my final Blue Eyes to my hand. I slowly dismantle Yugi's field before getting hit with the Kaiba creature swap combo. Even though we take 1500 and lose our Lodge In, this is what I was waiting for. I finally activate Poly and fuse all 3 Blue Eyes for the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. I clear the Lodge In with no problem and end my turn. With just 2 cards in his hand, Yugi's in a dire situation. He sets one and ends his turn. There are a couple of options here that save him, like Mirror Force, or even if he has the 3rd Kaiba in his hand. I don't have a choice in the matter, and if he has one of those, I can't do anything to play around those cards, so I enter battle phase to finish him off. Here Yugi chains Scapegoat and Eye of Truth, cards of which I've never seen in his deck before. Eye of Truth forces the opponent to keep their hand revealed. However, if they have any spell cards in the hand, they gain 1000 life points. Not the greatest card, but you do get hand knowledge, which is something at the very least. Scapegoat is the more annoying card and really good. It allows him to summon a bunch of tokens, which I need to get rid of. All Yugi can do here is stall, until I finally end up finishing him off with Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon's Ultimate White Lightning attack. My ends turn with 1 back row and a 1300 beater. And I don't know about you, but my hand is basically Exodia. I drop down Shining Friendship, equipping it with Silver Bow and Arrow, Cestus of Dagla, Lucky Iron Axe, and then topping it all off with Mage Power, which adds 500 additional attack for every spell card I control. And now our Shining Friendship is all the way up to 4600 attack. Mai has no counter, and we gain 3300, making this game even more unwinnable for her. Mai sets 1 and passes. It's clear she has no answer. At least I hope so. Shining Friendship gets in for another 4600, leaving Mai with just 100 life points. The following turn, she does appear to have some sort of play, normal summoning Harpy Dancer. She then falls with an Elegant Egotist and brings out Harpy Lady Scissors. Good thing for us, she stops there. Harpy Lady Scissors attacks her Fairy's Gift, but I did draw Honest. Mai surrenders and claims she doesn't have the cards to win, which sounds like Omega Copium to me. If I can win with Joey's deck, anyone can win any game, ever. Yugi and his friends enter the castle and begin to witness the duel between Kaiba and Pegasus. We learn that Pegasus has kidnapped Kaiba's younger brother, Mokuba. Oh, and he took control of his company as well. Turn 1 starts with Kaiba activating a Summoner's Art to add Blue Eyes. He then brings down his Axe Raider with 2 back row. Also retune Table of Contents to add Toon World to my hand. With it now on the field, I can summon Toon Gemini Elf and attack. Just kidding. For some reason, Konami really wanted this game to be Magic, so we have to deal with the Toons having summoning sickness for literally no reason. How are you going to make an archetype where you need a spell card to even summon those creatures alongside their regular summoning conditions and they can't even attack? What are you thinking, Konami? Anyways, Kaiba just passes and we can attack him directly. Wow, isn't that effect worth the trade-off? Anyways, I get punished by Kaiba's Shadow Spell, just because I wanted to clear the monster. Kaiba kills my Toon Cannon Soldier and sets 1. I draw Toon Goblin Attack Force, and it's probably the best out of the bunch just because it has 2300 attack. Kaiba draws his Ancient Rule and brings out Blue Eyes, and that's that. Game 2, Kaiba starts with a Lodge In and back row. Not good, especially with this hand. I drop the Toon World and take 1000. Oh, did I even mention that? Why do I have to take 1000 damage on top of all these restrictions? Why do you hate Toon Konami? What did they ever do to you? Anyway, Toon Goblin can attack, but it does scare Kaiba to change his Lodge In to defense. I draw Poly and we just so happen to have the Clowns in hand, so might as well give it a try. For a 3-card combo, Bikuri Box is a crazy card, having 2300 attack. It gets rid of the lodge in, and Toon Attack Force gets rid of the set. Just kidding, I misclicked from evolving too much. This is quite the unfortunate mistake, as Toon Goblin changes the defense position, which is a whole 0. Kaiba flips over his set Totemi Giant and attacks my Toon Goblin. Expected. He enters main phase 2 and activates Crush Card Virus, a special Toon Mermaidian defense. This doesn't end up mattering as Kaiba clears my field. I draw a Toon Alligator, and for some reason this card is a vanilla. Like, why is it vanilla? Like, why is it not a Toon effect monster like every other, like... This time we go first. I set Toon Defense, which can force the opponent to make a direct attack, and then activate my Toon World to bring out my Mermaid. Being a special summon, I can also set my Crass Clown, probably one of the best first turns this deck can produce. Kaiba drops X-Raider, okay, and the Dispel? Really? But good thing the AI is second gold, because why would you target the set? What are you afraid of? I literally can't play this deck without Toon World. We counter Blessings, he gets rid of Mermaid, still leaving me with my Crass Clown. I end up drawing Snatch Steal, and wonder if I actually use it here. I decide against it, because I want Kaiba to bring out Blue Eyes. I flip over my Crass Clown and target to return the X-Raider to his hand. Not gonna lie, for some reason I thought Crass Clown straight target, but you know, this would not be a Yu-Gi-Oh video if I actually read my cards. My draw is useless, so I just pass. With Megamorph in my hand, I actually want my life points low, and even double Blue Eyes won't kill me here. He Ancient Bulls for Rude Kaiser and normals out Ryukishin Towered. Of course, the one time I have Snatch Steal, he doesn't summon Blue Eyes. I draw hoping for a Toon Gemini Elf, and instead get Graceful. I say instead, but we still have a chance now. At first I thought my draws were pretty bad, but then I actually read Toon Table of Contents, and it can switch for any Toon card. So, you know what I add. That's right. I still summon Toon Cannon Soldier. Then I snatch his Rude Kaiser, allowing me to tribute summon 4 Blue Eyes Toon Dragon. With Megamorph, I boosted up to 6k attack, and I don't know how Kaiba's getting over this. He plays Pot of Greed, which might give him a chance, but he just ends up setting one and changing everything to defense. I go in for the direct attack, but get hit by the negation. Kaiba just sets another, like, it does anything. This time he connects, leaving him with just 650 life points. Kaiba continues to waste my time by Ancient Rolling out of Blue Eyes. I just attack directly with your game. First try, baby. Pegasus tells Kaiba that he's lost not just the duel, but also his soul. Children's card game, by the way. Pegasus becomes Talkie Man for a bit, before we learn that our first opponent is Mai. Mai promises an honorable duel, and so we begin. Mai starts with a Harpy's hunting ground and brings out a Harpy Dancer, making her pop her own hunting ground? Wait, what? Truly, our AI overlords are but mere days from taking over the world. I bring out the classic Celtic Guardian and take care of the Harpy Dancer. Mai somehow bricked, and just passes. I attack with Celtic Guardian. I could have set my Mystical Elf, but don't. Mai only sets one, and I bring out another Celtic Guardian. She sets another, and I mean, that better win her the game. Oh wait, it doesn't matter, I have MSC. Oh, and now it's really over, since I activate Advanced Ritual Art to bring out my Black Ulcer Soldier. With that, I defeat Mai and advance to the semis. After the duel is over, Yugi and Mai have a heart-to-heart talk about learning more from defeat than victory, which is very true. Joy finds Mai and tells her how he needs to win the tourney for the money to save his sister, getting all emotional in the process. This gets Mai emotional as well, and she ends up giving Joey her entry card. Bandit brings up our supposedly missing card, which just ends up being a major self-report. Keith goes first, but man, this hand is so good that anything we draw will immediately make it worse. Keith drops the Mausoleum of the Emperor field spell, letting him pay 1000 life points instead of tributing. That's a pretty crack card. He immediately pays 2k for Launcher Spider, a 7-star normal with 2200 and 2500 defense. Amazing. I start with Pot of Greed and draw 3 cards. Yep, it's worse already. I make it worse by activating Graceful Charity. And yep, it got even worse. I set Misaki, the Kunai Chain, and Sakuretsu armor. I keep the Mirror Force in my hand because there's no use for it next turn, and if he has any back removal, that's bad, so why even risk it? Keith attacks my set with Gatekeeper. And I Sakuretsu the Launcher Spider. I draw Red Eyes and fuck it. Time Wizard. I call heads as it always shreds, and tails. Doesn't matter though since I just set Mirror Force now. Keith pays another 2,000, bringing him down to just 1,000 life points total. It gets even worse for him since Slot Machine rolls right into my second Sakuretsu. Nothing happens for a little bit until I bring out my Swamp Battle Guard. I attack the set and it's actually a Blast Sphere. Since it was in face down defense, it equips my Battle Guard, which dies my Falling Standby phase. The same thing happens to my Baby Dragon. And of course, that's when I draw Time Wizard. Luckily, the second Baby Dragon was my following draw. I activate Polymerization and fuse together Time Wizard and Baby Dragon for 1,000 Dragon. Bandit Keith is unable to cope with his loss and gets taken far away. Yugi has doubts about being able to fight Joey. In response, Joey tells Yugi to, and this is a direct quote, "Suck it up." I start with the summon of Celtic Guardian and end my turn. Joey drops the Time Wizard and activates his effect to no avail. I draw Ancient Rules and, well, here comes that Dark Magician. Joey takes more damage and he's already dead. He sets one and passes. I have to draw a monster and, really, the third Poly? Whatever. Joey only has one turn left for real this time. Oh, and I make things even worse by drawing the best card on our deck. Using Poly, I fuse together Red Eyes Black Dragon and Summon Skull for Red Skull Dragon. With that, Joey is no more. Literally a 3-minute duel. Yugi tells Joey that he can keep the money. All he cares about is freeing his grandpa's soul. The time had finally come. As champion of the Duelist Kingdom tournament, Yugi won the right to duel Maximilian Pegasus. If Yugi wins, all the stolen souls will be set free. If he loses, he will join the rest. I go first. I start by summoning out my Horn Imp and send my Mirror Force. Pegasus drops Manju with 1,000 hands, grabbing Relinquished. He then activates Black Magical Ritual. Pegasus steals my Horn Imp, but Mirror Force is just too good. I activate Advanced Ritual Art and bring out my Magician of Black Chaos. Pegasus sets 2 cards face down and ends his turn. It's not good enough as I just kill a set. Pegasus sets again, and lore-wise he can only blame himself for making his own archetype unplayable. I bring out Summon Skull, and Pegasus sets 1 more. I enter battle phase, and that better be Mirror Force, or else Magician of Black Chaos will take the game. Yugi defeats Pegasus. Thanks to the friendship between him, his friends, and the spirit inside the Millennium Puzzle, they could accomplish anything. Truly, the power of friendship is unstoppable. But all is not well. Bakura takes advantage of a weakened Pegasus and steals the Millennium Eye. And with that, the Duelist Kingdom saga has come to a close. If you made it this far, why? In any case, I thank you for doing so. I would also appreciate if you could click that like button. Subscribing and turning on notifications will let you know whenever I upload a video. And if you have anything to say or ask, the comments are down below.